America's two-tier justice system strikes again. On the one hand, a judge in New York this week has handed down a decision based on an incredibly dubious bit of evidence with one aim in mind: destroy Donald Trump's business empire. And on the other hand, we have a committee in Washington that has uncovered a mountain of evidence that the First Family was on the take from foreign entities, including the Chinese Communist Party. Evidence so substantial that it would sink any other president, so long as his name wasn't Joe Biden. Now, let's talk about what happened to Trump first, and understand, again, that it doesn't matter whether you think he's the greatest American to ever live, or, as Trump himself might say, a total disaster. Because what we are talking about here is the American justice system, which is supposed to be blind, being deployed with the aim of destroying one man, not for the crimes they've charged him with on paper, but rather because his political beliefs are wrong, because he's from the wrong tribe. Now, there's no other word for that but un-American. Yet, the latest chapter in this saga occurred this week in a New York courtroom, where in a civil case, Donald Trump was found to have committed fraud, supposedly by inflating his assets to get loans to build his business. But this is the key. The person who brought the suit used a 1956 law with an incredibly low burden of proof simply to try and blow up the Trump empire. Now, CNN, yeah, I know, but here, have a listen. They explain.
What do you think? How big of a blow potentially is this for the former president and his adult children?
It's essentially the equivalent of the corporate death penalty for the Trump organization in New York State. And the reason for that is the statute that was invoked. It's called the Martin Act. It was enacted 102 years ago, and it is an extremely powerful weapon that the state can use against fraudsters.
Now, the suit against Trump was brought by New York Attorney General Letitia James, who ran for office on an explicit platform of bringing down the Donald.
Will you sue him for us?
Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the ass.
I will never be afraid to challenge this illegitimate president.
We need to focus on Donald Trump. We need to follow his money.
What is fueling my soul right now is Trump.
This illegitimate president. I look forward to going into the office of Attorney General every day, suing him, and then going home.
And Letitia James relied on some pretty, shall we say, contentious ideas about what things are worth when she brought this suit. Like, for example, Mar-a-Lago, Trump's Florida compound and private club. In the ruling against Trump, they said Mar-a-Lago was worth $18 million, which wouldn't be much more than what it cost when he bought it back in 1985.
It has 118 rooms, half of them bedrooms, 33 bathrooms, a theater, and just in case, 3 bomb shelters. During the 70s, the federal government held it as a presidential retreat, but gave it back because it couldn't afford the $1 million a year upkeep. Well, the house is Mar-a-Lago. Now, if the government couldn't afford it, you might wonder who could. Meet Donald Trump, real estate man and multimillionaire. Mar-a-Lago has been for sale since 1980. The asking price was a cool $20 million. Donald Trump's deal for the 118-room mansion was nowhere near that price. So you paid $5 million for the house.
Well, you said that. I didn't say it.
What did you pay for that?
Well, I won't discuss that on air.
What did you pay for the house?
Well, I could tell you that if you use the number that you're using, you probably wouldn't be too far off.
Now, of course, anyone with any knowledge of the property, which has at least 120 rooms and sits on 17 acres in Palm Beach, knows that that $18 million valuation is nonsense. Not only does the property sit on a massive lot, contain a huge Spanish Revival mansion, and is also home to a private club with its own income stream in the millions of dollars, but $18 million also, I'm afraid, barely gets you in the door in Palm Beach, and you thought Sydney was bad. Twice that amount of money might get you 5 bedrooms several streets back from the beach, but it won't get you this. So, what's going on here? Well, obviously, it's a stitch-up. What Letitia James and so many other prosecutors in Georgia and New York and Washington and Florida are doing is, in essence, trying to run a bill of attainder. That is to say, make a law specifically declaring one person or group guilty of a crime before it has even been proven, simply because they're them. This sort of thing is explicitly forbidden by the U.S. Constitution. And across America, every single state constitution expressly forbids the practice. But this is Donald Trump we're talking about. So, it's like the old saying they had in the Vietnam War. We had to destroy the village in order to save it. But now it's more like we have to destroy the norms in order to save them. Again, you don't have to be sitting there with a MAGA hat, clutching a MyPillow, to think that this is dead wrong. And to realize that once this sort of thing becomes the new norm, it won't take a lot for the wind to shift and people on the other side of politics to be caught up in the whirlwind. Now, contrast this treatment of Trump with how little, comparatively, attention has been paid to the latest absolutely stunning revelations into the dealings of what many are now calling, and not without good circumstantial reason to do so, the Biden crime family. I don't want to get too caught up in the weeds here with the evidence that has been uncovered over the past few days, but 3 committees investigating the Bidens on Capitol Hill have revealed the following in a new impeachment inquiry memo. Revealed that the Biden family and its associates received more than $24 million from Ukraine, Russia, Kazakhstan, Romania, and China. Found that a $250,000 wire transfer payment was sent to Hunter with his dad Joe's address listed as the beneficiary. And that was when Hunter was living in California at the time. Emails were also sent instructing FBI agents not to investigate the Bidens for violations of the Foreign Agent Registration Act, an act which has sent lesser Americans to jail to do hard time for violating. And they found that Hunter himself signed off on a letter to a new Ukrainian prosecutor, the one who replaced the guy his dad Joe bragged about getting fired. Remember that? In that letter, he demanded the new prosecutor stop investigating Burisma, which was, of course, the oil and gas company that was paying Hunter $1 million a year. There's more, but there was also this. And this really piqued my interest, given the way the knives are out for the Trumps, while the protection racket is still running for the Bidens. Amidst the document, a memo was also released from a CNN producer revealing that Hunter said he expected, quote, all this stuff to go away once his dad became president. I wonder why he would have said that. But it's funny, I don't remember CNN reporting on it. Do you?